Good day. I am Ms. Honie Matuguinas, your teacher for research project. Today's lesson is about reading unrelated literature and studies. Let's start. This topic will be divided into three parts, and the first topic is about selecting relevant literature. Let's try this. Using the clues given below, arrange the scrambled letters to form a word associated with literature review. Number 1, the reliability and correctness of information. Accuracy. Number 2, the state of being commonly known or accepted. Currency. Number 3, the qualifications of the author to write on the topic. Authority. Number 4, the degree to which the information is useful or related to another. Relevancy. Number 5, putting together materials from different sources into an integrated whole. Synthesis. Number 6, the extent to which a research account is believable and appropriate. Credibility. Number 7, forming of connections between the prior and the existing body of knowledge. Linkage. Number 8, a topic or area for which missing or insufficient information limits the ability to reach a conclusion for a question. Gap. Number 9, the fact of being based on facts and not influenced by personal beliefs or feelings. Objectivity. And number 10, the extent to which literature meets the needs and depth of the research topic. Coverage. All of these words are related to literature review. Let's start our lesson. A literature review is a process of studying what has already been written on a particular topic. It is according to Avila 2016. And it was also defined as a comprehensive study and interpretation of literature that addresses a specific topic. So it means to say that a literature review is not just a collection of research papers, studies, and articles, but it's actually a process of comprehensively studying those pieces of literature so that you could address a specific topic that you are researching about. These are the goals of review of related literature presented by Prieto and others in 2017. The first one is to demonstrate a familiarity with a body of knowledge and to establish credibility of you as the author. It means to say that a good review increases a reader's confidence in the researcher's professional competence, ability, and background, because if you are going to present a good review of literature, it means to say that the research paper that you are working on is well researched and well studied. Number 2, to show the path of prior research and how a current project is linked to it. It means to say that a good review places a research project in a context and demonstrates its relevance by making its connection to a body of knowledge. So you're not just simply presenting previous research papers or previous articles, but you're actually showing in your review of related literature how they are connected with each other. Third, to integrate and summarize what is known in an area, because a good review points out areas where prior studies agree, where they disagree, and where major questions remain. It also indicates the directions for future research. So it means to say that the review of related literature that you are comprehensively studying and interpreting should help you find out how these pieces of literature and studies are connected with each other and will help you identify what questions must be answered by your research. And lastly, to learn from others and stimulate new ideas, because a good review identifies blind alleys and suggests hypotheses for replication and gain new insights. Now, because there are a lot of available information online, these are the 5 basic criteria for evaluating information from any sources. The first one is accuracy. So you need to ask yourselves questions such as, is the information reliable? Is the information error-free? Is the information based on proven facts? And can the information be verified against reliable sources? So it's very important to identify whether the information you got from a source is accurate. So how would you know? So you try to look at the presented information or presented facts and try to check if they are error free. You first have to look at the information presented. Look at how they are written. Did the author observe proper rules in capitalization and punctuation? Next, check if the details are accurate or error free. So check the names, the dates, and other details that are presented. Next one is authority. You may ask yourself questions such as, who is the author? Does he or she have the qualifications to speak or write on that topic? And is the author affiliated with a reputable university or organization in this subject field? So the next, you may also take a look at the name of the author. So who is the author? If the article is about, for example, vaccine, then maybe the best person to talk about vaccines would be a medical professional or someone who really does research about such things. Because if the article is just written by a normal person, a celebrity or a vlogger or someone who is not really into medicine, then maybe you should question whatever is written. Maybe those are not facts, maybe those are based on opinion. So it is very important to know the qualifications of the author if he or she really has the qualifications to talk about a specific topic. The third one is objectivity. Ask yourself questions such as, what is the intended purpose of the information? Is the information a fact or opinion? And is the information biased? So ask yourself, why did this author publish this kind of article? So it's very important to look at the ulterior motive of whoever published this. For example, if this dentist would claim that this kind of product is the best toothpaste in the market. Now, take a look at who the author is. So, for example, the author is a dentist, so maybe this person is believable. But look at why this, for example, dentist published this kind of article, because maybe he or she is affiliated with that company, and of course, he or she would say good things about it. So, it means to say that whatever information is published is already biased, because there could be ulterior motive in presenting such articles. The fourth one is currency. So when was the information published? Is the information current or outdated? Does currency matter in this topic? So it's very important to know when the information was published, because as we know, information evolves through time, because maybe what is true and correct 20 years ago is no longer accepted nowadays, because information changes over time, because people, they do a lot of research, a lot of studies. So maybe what is true before may be false now. So it's very important to look for current information to support whatever you are stating or publishing or you're researching about. The fifth one is coverage. Ask yourself questions such as, does the information covered meet your information needs, or does it provide basic or in-depth coverage? Because if you are really dwelling into something and you want to research about a particular topic, maybe you want to get pieces of information that fully discuss something instead of just giving you basic information about a certain topic. Before we proceed to our next lesson, try to answer these questions. Why is there a need to evaluate a source of information before including it in your literature review? And do you think a research is complete without a review of relevant literature? Why? Now let's proceed to lesson 2, citation or review of related literature. First, what is citation? So, citation are a set of rules on how to cite sources in an academic writing. Whenever you refer to someone else's work, a citation is required in order to avoid plagiarism. And also, according to Turnitin 2017, citation is referred to as the way you tell readers that a certain material in your work came from another source. It will give the readers the information necessary to find that source again. So, if you are asking yourself, is it okay to get information from others? The answer is yes. But it will not be okay if you are not properly citing the sources. So, let's talk about this. So, citation is important because of the following reasons. First, it is helpful for anyone who wants to find out more about your ideas and where they came from. So, for example, you are researching about a particular topic and you came across a similar research paper. Then, if that similar research paper properly cited all of the sources, then it will be easier for you to look at those sources again to find more information about the same topic that you are discussing about in your research papers. Number two, citing sources shows the amount of research you've done. So it helps build your credibility as the author because it means to say that whatever you are talking about in your research paper is not just based on your opinion, but it is actually well researched because you actually cited a lot of other articles and studies. Number three, citing sources strengthens your work by lending outside support to your idea. So it's actually connected with number two. It means to say that whatever you stated, and if there are citations that would support whatever you stated first, it means to say that other people, other articles actually have the same thinking as yours and it was actually supported by other studies, other articles, other pieces of literature. Number four, it is a basis of authenticity of one's work. Number five, it ensures the ethical and academic honesty of someone's work. So this one is related to plagiarism because you are not just plainly copying things, you're actually acknowledging the fact that this piece of information is not yours and it is actually from another source, from another person. And it reveals the sources of information and knowledge, and it serves as a legal basis in crafting the body of your study. So there are different ways on how we do citation, and these are just three. So we have MLA or Modern Language Association, we have APA, American Psychological Association, and the Chicago style of citation. So MLA is widely used in the humanities such as in the fields of English, literatures, arts, and philosophy, and it uses brief parenthetical citations in the text that refers to an alphabetical list of works cited appearing at the end of the work. So these are just some examples on how we could do this. So the most important things that you need to have when you are doing an MLA kind of citation are the surname of the author and the title of his or her work and the page number where you got the specific kind of information. So in this example, the author is Gonzales and he wrote a book entitled Poetic Form, and whatever information was cited in these examples could be located at page 23 of his book. The APA citation style uses an author date system. It is widely used in the social sciences field. And it uses in-text citation in the text that refers to an alphabetical list of references appearing the end of the work. So in using APA kind of citation, you need to know the surname of the author and the year when the paper or the piece of literature was published. So in this example, the author is Jenkins, and the literature was published in 2003. So in the first style, if you will be placing the name of the author at the last part of whatever you cited, then you need to separate the surname of the author using a comma from the year it was published. But if you want to use or indicate the name of the author at the first part of your citation, then just simply place the year of publication inside parentheses. Now, if there are two authors, then you could actually cite both surnames, just like in this example, Sun and Cheng, and just place the year of publication inside parentheses. But if there are three or more authors, then you could just use et al. Because it means and others. Now, if you will be directly quoting or directly citing the words of the author, then you should enclose the direct citation inside open and close quotations. And then it's very important to include the page number where you got the information. Now, for citing secondary sources, find the primary source and cite it directly rather than citing the secondary source. If the year of the publication is present or the primary source is known, include it in the text. Meanwhile, if the publication year of the primary source is unknown, omit it in the in-text citation. So, for example, Rabbit 1982 as cited in Lyon et al. 2014, it was described as that. So in this example, it means to say that the researcher, for example, I was the one who researched about this. I was able to read about Rabbit's work in 1982 through the paper or through the article of Lyon et al. In 2014. And this is just the presentation on how you could do different citation styles. Now, try to answer this. Have you ever tried posting an article or a picture of yours in your social media account and it gathered many reactions like heart and like? Then someone copied it as if they are owning it as theirs. What would you feel? Most probably, you'll feel disappointed. You may feel angry, mad, or whatever negative emotions you could have. So just remember that if you would feel those negative emotions, then remember to always cite whatever you are copying from the internet or from whatever sources. Now let's proceed to lesson 3, the APA format of referencing. Let's try this. So number 1, this refers to someone who wrote and conducted the given cited study by the researcher. Author. Number 2, this noted the place where the study was printed. So it's the name of the publication. Number 3, it also allows the researcher to know when was the study conducted or when the study was conducted. So it's the year of the publication. Et al. Refers to and others. Number 5, this refers to the integration of different sources coming from different references in order to make a meaningful whole of ideas in a study. So this is synthesis. Let's proceed. So read and observe the given example below about the online distance learning and impact to students' performance. So try to locate how many citations did the author do, and who were cited in this given example. If you said 3, then you are correct. So the authors cited are Panigari and others, Pisciano, and Salamat and others. So that's citation. But if you are going to write the list of references, then it would appear like this. As you noticed, the citations in this paragraph was arranged alphabetically. And the same thing, and you should do the same thing in the list of references. So, Panigari comes first before Pisciano and then Salamat. Now, what is an American Psychological Association, APA, referencing? So, APA is the style of documentation of sources used by the American Psychological Association, and this form of writing research papers is used mainly in the social sciences. So, in crafting your research paper, you are going to follow the APA format of referencing. And the referencing always goes together whenever you cited new sources of ideas, facts, concepts in your research paper. Actually, you should verify with your teacher, in your university, or in your organization in what kind of referencing and citation you should follow. So what is reference page and a bibliography? So the reference page lists all sources you have cited in your paper or manuscript, and the things that you need to know are the author's name, date, title, and source. Whereas a bibliography helps the researcher keep track of sources they consulted or cited for their written material. Actually, if this is a reference page, you need to cite and list all the direct source of your information. While in bibliography, you need to cite or list both direct or indirect citations and sources of information you have gathered. And these are just different ways on how to write reference list. For the books, the pattern that you should follow would be, first is the author's last name, separated by a comma, followed by the author's the initial of the author's first name. Then, enclosed inside parentheses would be the year of publication, the book title, city where publication happened, and the name of the publication or publication house. So, for example, in this book, the author is Allen. It was published in 1974. The title of the book is Vanishing Wildlife of North America. It was published in Washington, D.C. And the name of the publishing house that published it is National Geographic Society. Now, for encyclopedia and dictionary, you should, for the first part, you should still follow the same author's last name, followed by the initial of the first name, year of publication. Now, for encyclopedia, there is actually the title of the article, so you should include that and the title of the encyclopedia, but separate them with a period. And for encyclopedia, you should indicate the volume and the page number or page numbers. So, for example, for the encyclopedia, the author is Bergman, and it was published in 1993. The name of the article or the title of the article is Relativity, and the title of the encyclopedia is in the New Encyclopedia Britannica. It's volume 26, pages 501 to 508. It was published in Chicago by Encyclopedia Britannica. But for dictionary, you don't have to indicate the name of the author anymore because dictionaries don't have authors actually. So you just have to write the name or the title, the name of the dictionary. So for example, Merriam-Webster's Collegiate Dictionary, and dictionaries actually have editions. So whether in this example, it's the 10th edition. It was published in 1993 in Springfield, and it was published by Merriam-Webster's. Now, for magazines and newspaper articles, these are the printed ones. You would cite it like this. So you need the author's last name, the initial of the author, the year it was published, the title of the article, the periodical title, like the name of the magazine or the name of the newspaper, volume number. Usually you could find it in the upper portion of the newspaper or the magazine, and the pages. So in this example, the author is Harlow. It was published in 1983. The name of the magazine or newspaper is Fundamentals of Preparing Psychology Journal Articles. The periodical title is Journal of Psychological Ad Psychology. The volume number is 55, and you can find it in pages 893 to 896. Now, if a periodical includes a volume number, then italicize it, then give the page range. But you don't have to write PP, for example, if there are a lot of pages. So just really write the page number. And if the periodical does not use volume numbers, like the newspapers, use P or PP for page numbers. So in this example, there is a volume number. It's 55. That's why we didn't write PP 893 to 896. But if there's no volume number, you would just write PP, like pages 893 to 896. Now, this is very important since most sources are from the internet. This is how you write reference lists for website or web page. So the pattern for an online periodical, you need the author's name, the date of publication, title of article, title of periodical, volume number. So it's just like the printed publication or the printed magazine or newspaper, but the only difference is you need to indicate the date when you retrieve the information and the full URL. So in this example, the information was retrieved in January 23 in 2002, and it is from this website. Now, if the URL is too long, you could actually cut the website after the slash. Now, this is the pattern for an online document. So, the most important things would always be the author's name, the title of work, the year of the publication or the specific day, when you retrieve it, and the copy of the full URL. Now, there are some instances wherein the online document would only provide you the year of publication, so do it just like the first example. But if you have the exact date on when it was published, then do it like this. So, for example, 2000 March 7th. But if there is no date, then try to write NB inside the parentheses. Now, for some articles, the name of the author is actually not indicated and just the name of the organization. So in this case, you just have to write it like this. For example, GVU's 8 WWW user survey. And just include when you retrieve the information and the full URL. Now, if the document is contained within a large and complex website, for example, in the website of universities or government agencies, just identify the host organization and the relevant program or department before giving the URL for the document itself. Now, before we end our lesson, try to answer this question. Why is it important to list your sources? Now we're finished. I hope you have learned something new from this lesson. See you next time. Goodbye.